Hey you.
I'll be with you. Nephew. Ah. Here we go. Oh boy. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Hi everyone. It. Oh my goodness. Okay, I can barely. I'm gonna need to somehow make the chat slightly bigger in my. Can you guys hear me from here? Hopefully it's not like super muffled and just really high noises. Yes? Excellent. Alright, how do I zoom? I want to make this text bigger. Where's the buttons? There's the buttons. Chat appearance, font size. Alright, we got to make it extra big so I can at least read. And then, you know what? I'm going to make it its own
Null
screen.
1976 thinks you should do 20 squats.
Even on a momentous occasion like this, even on something special like a Fursuit stream, within like 5 minutes of getting on the screen. How long have I been streaming right now? Oh, okay, 6 minutes and 20 seconds. But basically, just as I started, I have to do my squats. Yes, we can hear you. Excellent. All right, I'm just moving things around. So, because obviously I'm going to... Because normally I put my thingy-majiggy there. And then full screen is, you know, the video game I want to play in the center. And then... Hang on, I'm going to definitely need to... Ding, ding. Alright, hang on. Alright. It's about as big as it's going to get. Actually, you know what? I could probably put the chat in there. Let's see. Will it let me? Yes, it will. Awesome. Hi there, Bone. Hi there, Jason. Hi there, Alex. Atomic Heart when? Atomic Heart doesn't come out until February. So it's still a while before that. And no, I wasn't invisible. I just was hiding in the frame because I was like, huh, do I want to put the shoes on? But I didn't want to. I can actually like start doing squats for people in front of... Here we go. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Thank you for the 20 squats, Noel. I don't really like my middles. Hi there, Dolt Wolf. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, I am in a fursuit.
Quote 107. I just want my dick sucked. Is that too much to ask?
It absolutely is. Like, look at me. And all this. Imagine if I just asked someone while in this appearance, there would be a lot more questions. But yeah, few things. Number one, the squat redeem isn't going to be going off as quickly as it normally does. Simple reason for that is I'm in a fursuit. I am like trapped in this thing. It feels already having to do the 20 squats. I already feel, just a little bit more constrained. And number two, I didn't want to like get up, as often as I do when I normally do the squats. So it's like,
Bonker.
Ow. Who's bonking me? Noel. Oh, my sweet baby Jesus. Hi there, Renee. This is what I look like. And also, look at this room. Absolute fucking nothing in it. I put so much work into like 3D and all that kind of shit. I give you, wait, no, over there. Over there. Hopefully I'm pointing. Over there is like all the 3D work and such like that I've, like, the bookshelf, the heart, the books, the star, and the bit. Like, I put all that shit together. I don't have any of those figurines.
You wanted me to say insert peck dance.
No. Unfortunately, this is going to be one of those, fantasy versus reality shattering moments. Actually, you know what? Let me just get this out of the way right now.
Be so fine. Then boom. Morning.
Get ready, because this is the physique that I am in. Hang on, let me... Yeah. Look at this! This is not Himbo. I have to fix this. I have to, like, shrink it down and all this kind of nonsense. It's too big for this... for the idea. Oh my god. Hi, Kusaki. Yes, I am real. Hi. Can someone shout out Kusaki? I would, but I have not yet. I can use a controller in these things. I can't type. Hi there, Huskateer. Hi there, Zip. Has a dad bod. I do have a dad bod, but, that's not what my fursuit is. Well, that's not what my fursona is, and I haven't done the update. And plus, I don't want to, like, update the fursuit to be an exact depiction of what my body type is, or an... Hello there. Hi there, Masonic. So yeah, so I don't want to, like, your booba sag to your tummy. Oh. Ah, that wounds me. So yeah, thank you for doing the shout out there, Jason. So yeah, so where was I in my train of thought? I haven't updated the fursona to be like, an exact replica or an exaggeration of my IRL body, because the fursona is more of this, what do you call it? It's a fantasy. It's, it's something, it's an unobtainable goal I might want to desire to have. And you know what? I feel like trying to get a muscle himbo bod is a worthwhile goal to have. There isn't like, a crazy, medical issue if I want to be that size, as opposed to, I don't know, giant tits or morbidly obese or having like toxicity-induced tattoos across the body that glow radiation, so I can have this glow-in-the-dark look while at nightclubs. Wait, where's the camera? There it is. So yeah, also, I have a camera there, and then... Wrong button. I have a camera here! And you can also see further Thank you, Jason. Oh my god, that looks amazing. I hope you're ready for a lot of crunches and some body weight to bulk. Yes. So that's some of the stuff that I'm going to need to do. I'm going to move back over to the... There we go. Oh my gosh. Everything's like falling over and such. So... The eye stretch? Oh yeah, like just the... Oh my gosh. Whew. Oh my... Damn. It does get hot in here after 10 minutes. Kusaki, goddamn. How do you wear a fursuit for long hours? Like, people go for walks in this thing. You have a late night snack and watching a himbo zebra in a suit. What a night. Was careful not to turn around to show off that cake. Yes. Like, I have, like, and here's the other thing, is, like, I'm in jeans, like... So I'm in, like, full-blown attire that is probably not advisable while, you know, standing in... Is my fan even running? Yes, my fan is running. Oh, boy. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do this stream while in a fursuit. It might be 3 hours. It might only be 1 hour. It might not even be the hour. I'm going to be real with you. Holy shit, it's hot. You need some body cooling packs for long use. Those are a thing? Like, I'm trying to think. Like, I feel it on my face. Like, I have a balaclava underneath, so then that way it doesn't get... That way the sweat doesn't get on the fursuit. It gets, like, in the balaclava and shit. I wonder if there's one for the... Yeah. Alrighty. Did you know about body cooling packs? I did not know about body cooling packs. One of the things I do need to do, however, is... Someone be... Is there any issue if I present this thing? No, there isn't. Cool. Jackal9, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. You got to do some research into fursuit wears. Hey, you make an excellent point, but again, this is why I am Himbo. Like, like, look, O-D-M-I-H, Himbo. You got the name right. Yeah, look at this. I can read. Thank you very much.
That's a lot of nuts.
Thank you, Cho. Thank you for the backup. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm going to click on this button here. And I totally forgot I needed to change some things. Alright, studio mode. And then game source. I need to activate this. Alrighty then. Up above me, Jason, if you could please type in the friend code, or if someone can type in the friend code, if you want to join into a game of Mario Kart, you'll need this friend code. Do you normally wear this much clothing when streaming? Oh, hell no. I don't normally wear... I don't normally, like, you know, wear a fursuit and some arms and such like that, so... But I do normally wear a shirt and I wear pants. Thank you, Jason. And if you could please pin it indefinitely, that will also help. Alrighty, here we go.
Quote 296.
Back of the neck, if you feel yourself getting warm, just tuck it in the back of the fursuit. You'll thank me later. Awesome, Benru. Alright, also, I need to stop the music in the background. Where is my... There it is. And then... It's so much harder trying to go through...
you wanted me to say, did you know? You at this moment in time are both a himbo and a dad.
Am I? Ow. Maybe I need to move this. Am I? Didn't know I would be a dad.
Mario Kart! Hey!
Woo! Alrighty, and then no wait, not single player. Hang on, press back. Online play. Boom, 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 boom. Alrighty, friends and rivals. I shall create a room. You can create a room to play. Would you like to create a room? Yes. Donkey Kong. Where is... Need something light and speedy. What's that? That's the comic. That's the sports bike. Flame Rider. There we go. I will need to remember you warn a partial before. Ventilation is a must. You either have to keep your boy's mouth open or take a head off entirely to get decent airflow. Ah. Yeah. Alright, cool. I almost bit my finger off. How does this work? In the back of the neck, and then Jekyll did a quote, 298. I would furiously... You know about that quote, don't you? So I'll need to remember that for next time. But yeah, this is like going to be probably one of the few times that I'm... Like, this is one of the first times, I should say, where I'm wearing the fursuit for a long, extended period of time. The last time I wore the fursuit, or the last few times, I should say, I wore the fursuit. Hang on, I'll just move the mic closer in case you can't hear me. The last time I wore the fursuit, like the last few times, was, you know, taking photos or just like sort of trying it on, experimenting a little bit. But those were normally like, you know, I didn't do squats or anything. You sent me a solid starting point resource. Ow. Okay, I'm gonna need to...
Well, Musky Dog wanted me to say I brought the jackal to help me make you do squats.
Oh, that's why he knows you. Alright, hang on. There we go. Let's have a look. Alright, so IC and Kusaki are playing their Mario Kart. Heh. Dink. Oop. Meow. Gonna put it there for a while. You're just a wandering clown. Is that it? Also, I'm just gonna have some music in the background. So, because I'll wait for like friend requests or what have you. If anyone wants to join in to play. I had like an initial thought of like, oh, maybe I should have done like a single player Mario Kart like session just to get into the flow of things, but then there was like the other side of me that was like, I didn't want to like, you know, just start playing Mario Kart and not allow people to like, you know, be able to get in and all that kind of such. I don't know how to do these kinds of community nights. This is like probably, I want to say the third time I've done this community night. Like, because before I've done like I did like I've done like Jackbox one time, and then I'm trying to think what else. I don't do these very often. The pinned messages there. Having friends is hard. Having friends is very much difficult. It's very, very real.
273.
Be so fine.
I don't need to look at a picture of sexy bone to make you do squats.
Wait, what was the quote? I don't need to look at a picture of sexy bone to do squats. Yeah, exactly. I'm doing the squats for my own volition. Yee. So yeah. Actually, wait, hang on a second. Am I missing anything? Dink. Ah, yes. Thank you for the fursuit source. I very much appreciate it. So yeah. Also, I should probably start the Oh, is the event already started? Yeah, the event's already started on the Discord. And then there's been a time warp, which looks very funny. You don't play long on your Switch, huh? No, I don't normally. Like, the Switch has, like, and also, what's more is, like, this is a profile that was made, like, explicitly for streaming and what have you. So then that way there wasn't, like, another one. But, like, my personal thoughts on the Switch is that you get it more for being able to play with your friends than, like, a lot of the single-player content they, like, you know, dole out to you. Because, like, if I'm not interested in Link or Metroid or Bayonetta, I'm not likely to play those games when they, you know, come out on a new console and such like that, unless, you know, they come out on a console that I play already. So I'm more often playing it for the Mario Kart, the Mario Party, or the Super Smash Bros. And, like, half the reason for that is because, you know, oh, they're party games. We very much want to play party games with friends, and, you know, a little bit of their IP, you know, definitely gives them a big boost for that. You didn't sell your soul to Mario of the Mario Brothers? No, I did not sell my soul to Mario. I sold my soul to be a furry. Blah. Blah, 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 blah. Alright, hang on. I'm just gonna go back down to this. What happens? Press OK. Oh, lol, I can just, like, start. I'm gonna start slowish. I'm gonna start with, like, 100 cc's. I feel like is a nice normal. There's no teams. And we're gonna go with hard CPUs. A Smash Bros. Free for all those items on a can, and you'll get to beat up at a convention. Oh yeah, and then, like, but yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, it's a fighting game that was made as a party game first. It's only because of Smash Bros. Brawl with half of their shit broken and 10 years of people training in it and have been able to create hack ROMs to get the training tools in the game that, why hard CPUs? Because I feel like people would be mad if there weren't hard or difficult CPUs. Also, I can probably stop the music in the background if I'm just sitting in this screen instead, since the message at the top is pinned by Jason. Oh yeah, Melee, sorry, because it goes Super Smash Bros, then it goes Super Smash Bros. Melee. Sakurai absolutely does not like any of the mechanics that he made in that. He thinks it was his, like, worst made game, which, you know, he's valid to have this kind of criticism, because there was actually quite a few bugs, like the air dash and such, which he thinks is, like, you know, a bug and an error. Then we went over to Brawl, which has probably, like, one of the better stories. Brawl has spaghetti code. Yeah. Or, sorry, no, Melee has spaghetti code. Why did it do... Oh, because that's a 7TV app. That's why. Weird. Did I get my coasters yet? No, I did not get my coasters yet, I'm sorry to say. Throne is currently processing all the orders right now, so I haven't got the mouse or the coaster yet, but I'm not too, like, you know, too stressed out about that, actually. So I'm only going to be stressed out if it's like, oh, they canceled the order, or, oh, we are unable to process it, because then it's like, well, now, like, you know, peeps have put money towards this sort of thing, and I don't exactly want them to... There better be a means of, like, returning that money, because I don't want people to, like, you know, try and gift me anything, and then it just ends up being a, oh, hey, we tried our best, but whoopsies. Like, I don't want that happening. There are parts of the Pokemon Stadium you can straight up fall through the floor. I did not know about that. I like Brawl when I was a kid. I missed that. Mario and on the Wii. Yeah, like, I'm curious if there's anyone in the chat who hasn't played on Nintendo games. Like, maybe you're just watching right now because it's a it's a zebra fursuit on the screen right now, and you're just sort of like, wow, I wonder how long he's going to be able to play in this fursuit with his like paws and arms. And can you see my wrist? No, you can't. Okay. Woo. Brawl because of the subspace emissary and so many times with my siblings. Yeah, the subspace emissary is that's the Super Smash Bros storyline, isn't it? Like that's the reason for it. Are you gonna have to call an ambulance? No, I am a responsible zebra. I will have like an understanding of my limits and what have you and such like that. And I feel like I would sooner do a face reveal than put myself in the ambulance because I was wearing a fursuit when there's like an air-conditioned room like right next to me. I have options. So, if you've never played anything on Nintendo, you're either lying or extremely sheltered. I don't think you have to be, like, I think the third option is that you're just coming into, like, you know, you're coming into, like, the video game industry, like, say, when you're past your teenage years, like, you're not coming into it as a child, you're not coming to it as a preteen, you're coming into it, like, as, you know, this 16 or 17-year-old boy, and you know what? Nintendo doesn't really have games for the 16 or 17-year-old boy looking to get their first start into video games. Maybe Legend of Zelda could do it, but that's not where Nintendo is. Nintendo either tries to get you young or as a family. Not true, points to Zelda. Okay, yeah, besides Zelda. And what I'm getting at with Zelda is that it doesn't really do all that much. And what's more, or like between the time we've had, you know, Zelda Breath of the Wild and the next Zelda is we've had the Dynasty Warriors Zelda crossover. Oh, and they now have Bayonetta? Well, some people seem to think Bayonetta's... I would like to play Bayonetta, I'll be real with you, but I feel like some peeps are gonna, you know, try and be like real incels about it and be like, oh, it's a girl or a protagonist for some fucking reason and see that as an issue. My god, am I gonna have like really shit takes while I'm in this suit for too long? Hang on. People are incels regardless? Oh my god, you can do like so many races. Alright, let's go with the minimum of 4. Hi Danny, welcome to the stream! Hopefully you're doing alright. Ding ding dong. That frightened. Oh yeah, the Mrs. Doubtfire, like just going, hello. Oh my goodness. Also, I just realized that. Interesting.
Hello.
First time seeing the fursuit. Yeah. Hi there, Avalon. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, this is like my first time wearing the suit on stream as well. I made it like a channel point redeem, thinking it was gonna take a while, but I set the channel point like the community goal like really low, like quite frankly, so it got done in like a week. Did you hurt your jaw? No, that was just me with the control. Actually, I should probably move the thingy-majiggy over to this camera here, so in that way you get like a little wider view of me. Also, you can't see the desk unless... Hello. Hi. Cursed. Yeah. So yeah. But no, you know what? I'm gonna... Are you sure you want to go back? Yes, because...
That's a lot of nuts!
No one has sent any, like, you know, friend requests or anything like that. I'm gonna get through at least, like, a first... Like, you know, first player sort of, set of races with my setup. I'll double check if there's been any friend requests or anything like that. And then I'll go into a, like, friends versus rivals, session. We'll see how we go. Because otherwise I might just be, like, you know, sitting in this chair with nothing to say for, like, the next 30 minutes, and I don't think that would be as fun. Boys with tummies give me serotonin. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of the boys with tummy thing. I understand that's some people's thing, but I feel like, you know, for me, yeah. I just realized there's like this great big line in my vision right in the middle. So you're gonna see me like most likely do things like these, or I'm just gonna be like, done. Yeah. Oh my goodness, how am I? Yeah. Nope. There we go. Oh, nope, 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 nope. Alright, go for the edge. Hello there. Oh my goodness. And I'm playing with like robots right now. I'm just gonna go through a few races of single player. Oh, Jesus. I'm just gonna go through a few races of single player Mario Kart. And then I'll double check the friends list to see if anyone. And then start like a friends and what's-a-mahoozy session. If you need to know the friend code, it is a... Jason, my moderator, has been really kind as to pin the message at the top of chat. There we go. Oop. That's a problem. How many coins do I have? Alrighty, and then... Excellent. Dun, 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 dun. No, you don't. Woo! Oh my goodness. Ah. Ow. Okay, cool. No one's actually behind me. But I missed all the... Alright, here we go. There we go. Yes! Alright, although that was with NPCs. That's why you can't see so good. It's got... swole between the eyes. Great way of looking at this, Avalon.
Ja Kyle 9 thinks you should do 20 squats.
Alrighty then, let's go through these 20 squats then next. Alrighty, here we go. Woo! Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, thank you for the friend request. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. What? Avalon, I'm doing it correctly. 11, 12, 13. Like this? Or like in front of me? 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah. You almost saw my feet there. Don't bend or hunch over, keep that back straight. I have been doing that. Spoiler alert, I have a bit of a stomach. It like warps the fucking thing. Next race. Woo! Good job. Thank you, Angrel. I normally do a good job doing my squats. So many people were giving me shit about my squats, and I was like, I'm gonna prove it. This is all just... The only reason Avalon's watching is so that they can see an IRL stream of me doing my 20 squats now. Dun, dun, bing. Oh, god damn it. Can barely see. Woo! Ow. Oh, there's a cart in front of me. But that's okay, I'm still in the lead! Here we go. So how's everyone's evening been going? Don't overexert yourself in the suit. You imagine it's really hot? It is hot, Angrel, but do not worry. So there's been like 1 or 2 peeps who have mentioned like some helpful tips in regards to like wearing a fursuit. One of them is a cooling pack. So apparently I could like put that on the back of my neck. And I've gotten like 1 or 2 helpful videos about wearing a fursuit. So that's good too. Some people might worry about I cannot see where I'm going. Some people might be worried that I'll like be trying to, you know, go into heat stroke or something terrible like, oh my god, I'm gonna hit by a blue shell. Nope. Some people think I'm gonna go into a heat stroke, but I am man enough to understand that rather than going into a heat stroke and needing to call the ambulance, I will take my fursuit head off stream, or like on stream, and have to give an impromptu face reveal. Oop, and of course I get shrunk. And I don't have my item. And... Ow. I promise you, I will be fine. Although I will be real with you, I might make a short 3-minute break. Hey, Bone. Hang on a second. There is nothing cowardly about calling an ambulance in the case of the emergency and to understanding one's limits. Getting whammed. One must understand their limits. And it takes a brave man to do so without reaching their limits. Oh my. I'm still in the lead. Du-du-dun. You play the bigger fuel flopping over from heat stroke than you do pacing yourself. Exactly! Congratulations, Orene, on getting a free month of Nintendo Online. I totally forgot that you need, like, a membership to play online. I think there's a free trial for those who haven't activated it, and it's, like, 7 days long. I'm the pleb that just... Yes, Hydrate has disappeared, because I'm gonna be real with you. I do not have a good way of, doing it while in a fursuit just yet. Like, hang on a second. So... This is the longest straw I have. This is my bottle. Observe. Do you see the straw? No? That's because it's practically there. Yeah. Here is the second. So now I got like a smaller straw. Here we go. All right. So let's pretend. So this is, and it almost works. Here we go. Oh, missed. Hold on a sec. Let me try again. All right. And then I need to only go far enough. Ah, I lost the straw. And it's back in. It takes a lot of work. So, one of my next purchases is going to be a Camelback, because that has like a long bendy straw. My mom usually consider a Source tactical hydration bladder. You can wear inside the screw. Yeah, a Camelback. It's called a Camelback. I know what it's called. My mom and I used to have one when we went motorcycle riding. I don't have a Camelback because, you know, it's been decades since I did a motorcycle ride, but that's basically a Camelback. It's a... Yeah. Shout out to Camelback. Actually, I don't... Camelback wouldn't sponsor a furry. It would be really funny if they did sponsor a furry, but they don't. But yeah, that's on my to-do list. Yep, auto acceleration is off, smart steering. All right, time to keep racing. Dun, 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 dun. Whee! So yeah, so I want to get like a, so, I can't call it, I have to call it a Source tactical hydration bladder. So I'll get one of those in order to, that way I can drink while in the fursuit. Ah! Uh-oh, no. Damn shell. This might be the race I don't come first. Whee! Oh, damn it, Blue. You'll send me some links? Thank you. Although I will be real with you, my mom probably has a spare Camelback because she does a lot of motorcycle riding, and I think she's gotten more than one. So, but my mom doesn't know I have a fursuit. That's going to be a fun conversation, explaining to her why I want a Camelback despite the fact I don't own a motorcycle or don't like hiking. Hey, Mom. Yes, Grant. I would like a Camelback for my, like, birthday or Christmas or something. And they're like, oh, that's neat. I didn't know you what do you... That's cool. What do you need it for? Oop, and then... Yoop. You were gonna suggest that? Yeah. Hey there, Chase! What's with the Monka look? Yonk. Alright, and then... Roll. Dun, 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 dun. Yahoo! Am I coming first right now? I can't see. Hey, I'm coming first. Get dabbed on. Where are the sex... There are no sexy, naked, furry photos code. You cleaned up the cookies. Now you have to log into everything again. Ah! That always sucks. It is important to clean up your cookies in cache, so then that way you're not holding on to, like, older content when browsing the web and such like that, in case you want to have, like, you know, quicker connection speeds and what have you. But you have a billion passwords. I recommend a password manager. Not the Google Chrome password manager. Like, a good one. Like, I don't know, fucking 1Password. Or, Bitwarden. You don't remember a billion passwords? Fucking ridiculous. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my god, are you kidding me? What happens if you pull the lever at the moment? I have no idea. I kept it enabled, but I'm not too sure if it, like, actually moves me down or if it, you know, moves the wrong source.
Pull the lever, Bronk.
Yes, of course you do. Alright, I am going to need to remove that redeem then. Oh, yeah.
Quote 130. Did you get a bikini code?
Roll. Did that guy just do a jump?
Quote 56. Don't clip my nutting motion. Quote 78. I want that
Fuck you,
dopamine
Peach.
hit.
Ah! No! I lost where I was going because of the fursuit head.
Quote 58. Just a quick 2-minute break, whilst we adjust our noses and eyes.
You know, that's probably not too bad of an idea, taking a 2-minute break after this. I'll get myself like a proper drink of water, give myself some time to breathe in the air conditioning, and then we're back into the action. I'll double check my friend's request. Also, if you need my friend code, it's up in the chat. Is a pinned comment. Here we go. Oh, that's not the final lap. Okay. Is anyone behind me? No, they're not. Okay, cool. Oh, thanks. Whee! Oh, I'm down to 5 coins. How did I lose so many coins? That's probably why. Come on, I can do it. I can do this. Woo! It's going to be eventual to sing the negotiate when you get it. After that, save for your persona. Hey, that sounds cool. I can do what I want in this fursuit, Renee, and you can't stop. Wait, where's the camera? You can't stop me. Also, I can see that my other camera is like twisting off. There we go. Observe. Bam. 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 Came first in all 4 races. The ears are flopping. hopefully, like, they're not gonna, like, fly off or anything like that. Alright, I am going to take a quick... Hang on a second. Give me a moment. Where's the home button? No, not the multiplayer. Beep, beep. Boop, boop. Add friends. I've received friend requests. Renee! Oh, and it's the Princess Peach! Yes, we shall become friends. You're finally heading home? Hey, good for you, Hendrix! You still thinking about commissioning BC4C? I do not remember that artist. I do not have any friend requests at the time. That's okay. Alrighty. The friend code is there. I'm going to take a short 2-minute break to get some water. And then I'll be back, and we're going to get a race start. You're in trouble now. Urine? Almost 1 a.m. You can play video games at 1 a.m. I'm just going to take a short break. And then, you know what? Because I can, I will move over to the other camera, to the front-facing one, so then that way you don't see my feet. Watch this shit. You won't be able to see my feet. Is there a break still going off right now? Or... There's no way I've only been gone for like 30 seconds. Yes, I am well. I feel like I was gone for like... What thingy? What thingy? You forgot, but it's done. Oh! Cool! Hey! Nice work. Your art's done on paper. Awesome! Good to see. Good to see. Love it. You already showed it to me early when I think it was in gray? Can't believe it's been 60 years since Grant went on a break. It's not been 60 years. Among Us. Boom, bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Alrighty. Just gonna. Yeah, ding, 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 ding. Alright, there's no new friend requests, so I can go back down to Mario Kart 8. I do a friends and rivals. I create a room. Yes. And then, yep, it's gonna be Donkey Kong. Oh, so I can swap back over to the wide lens. Ding, ding, dong. Oh yeah, that's my me. Hello. You should look at your game played right now. Tiu Panayojula. I don't know how to say that name, but thank you for the follow. This is going to be a little bit tricky. There we go. Beep, beep. Played for 10 hours or more. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of Super Smash Bros. Holy shit. Ah, you played Twitch for a little bit, have you now? Why is your me in Europe? I don't know why it's there of all places, but it's just there. This shall be fun. So yeah, meanwhile, Icy and Kusaki are in the middle of playing Mario Party. Everyone else is offline. Hit the thingy-majiggy there. Hey! Sorry for Esto. Who's Esto? Oh, it's just a globe. It's going, like, the globe's moving, Avalon. Yunk. I'll give it my best shot. Who is that? Alrighty. So yeah, let's go. GrantZeebs or GrantZeebs. Nailed it. Alrighty, hard CPUs, all vehicle. Actually, let's just make them carts. No, we're not going for 48 races. Fuck that noise. And then we're gonna go with 100cc because this is gonna be a very fun diggy-ma-diggy. Alrighty then. False alarm. You're not making a lot of sense. How long were you in the Tro truck today? I'ma say 16 hours. You were in a Tro truck for 16 hours. Am I about right? Also, who just sent me a...
Stretching Time sponsored by Avalon Hoss.
No, okay, anyone that does know my, like, version, that's me stretching while in 3D is just doing this. Alright, hang on. Stretching time. Proper stretch. Proper stretch. Stretch up! Up! Hiya, Slith! Welcome to the stream! Stretch! 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 I'm even more... yeah, exactly. I'm even more 3D. And also, look at this. I got the Himbo shirt. I need to fix it, however. I need to do a new printing and have, like, the Himbo words, like, lower down. Because I had this, like, fairly high up. I need to have them, like, a lot lower down. I need them, like, you know, below the nipple. Alright. Let's go. Whee! No teams, normal items, and we're gonna go with the hard CPUs. I wonder why they give us this distinction when... Alright, let's... I'm just gonna go for random. I need it booba... Yeah, exactly. I need to lower it down, because right now it's like above booba height, and I need to make it like at booba height. You are now home and can probably see the Zeebs? Excellent! Woo! No idea what race course that is. Renee Zach from the United States. Dun, 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 dun. Whee! Oh, this is fun. Oh, that is not fun. Ow. I'll catch up to you. Don't you worry. Well, that's useless. Whee! Oh, missed that. Oh, this is a fun map. I actually like this one. Ow, no, I don't like it when you do that. Yeah! Oh. I can do this! I can do this! Yeah! Excite map reminds me of the Baby Mario one. I do not remember the Baby Mario one. Yes! Back in the day, I had to print shirts manually. Oh! Back in Avalon's day. Alright, let's go for... Wait, can I do special maps? I can do the special ones? Oh, I need the booster. Okay. The temptation to just do Excite back like again. Fuck it, SNES. I don't know. It's from Double Dash, which is like super old. Ah, okay. Green shell, lightning, and then red shelled. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Dun dun. Dun dun. Dun dun. Dun. What the? That's a wall of text? Thank you! You've been here for approximately 9 minutes, but I appreciate it. Oh, shit. That was my fault, I'm sorry to say. I pressed the home button instead of the start button. I am sorry for doing that, Renee. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was my fault. I got distracted by, like, this wall of text that then later on got highlighted, and I was like, hang on, does this look like something I have to, like, quickly read? I am very sorry about that. How do I hit pause without... Okay, so I just need to try and go for maybe the top left one, which is up here instead. It ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, no, of course. Donkey Kong's good. Where's the sorry? Hello. I'll just use hello. And then... Alright. Ding. Oh, there's a Justin? He's good. What? I'm a little confused, but I will continue on. All right. What's a fun one? All right. I have to make Z happy by at least doing Wario Station or something Wario-esque at least once. All right. So we're going for... I don't know what that is. Here's hoping today goes more easily. Gonna sleep for 9 hours and start again at 11. Not to worry, Hendrix. Thank you for coming along to the Fursuit stream. I greatly appreciate it. Alright, I just need to wait for the thingy-majiggy to go off. Bing. Oh my god, okay. This is actually rather quaint. I like it. I've never been on this map before. Fuck up that child. Oh. Oop. Ow. Okay, at least I got 2 coins back. Yeah. Whee! Alright, I can do this. I can do this. I can get to the end. No! Get the baby! Oh. That was so much distance lost. I went from like first to second. Thank you for the lurk, Hendrix. Oh my goodness. What was in those babies? Insanity.
2_pan Azzy wants you to stretch. Remember to stretch.
Yeah. I'm keeping to Wario Stadium. Gonna try and get through that. I keep knocking my mic with my mask. I keep like going like Dun dun dun. Hello there. Wait, you've already been in here. You were in here like literally 16 minutes ago. Dun. One, two. Oh, damn it. Whee! And oh wow, we're really that close to first. Oh, the car is really hurt you. Oh, I threaded that needle with the what's-mahoozy with the bananas. I'll accept third. Third's no, not no. At least someone's gonna get blue shelled. Why did I get blue shelled? didn't go to the first? Hmm. I don't have a cat jam. The CPUs need to use lube? No, they don't. They're fine. And besides, you wouldn't notice the CPU so much if there was, like, more players, like, playing in the game and what have you. So... Computer. They don't need lube. Stop saying they need lube. Dun 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 dun. RNA said it, not me. Chugga 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 chugga. 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, come on. Oh. Yahoo! Damn it. I keep getting hit by that particular corner. I need a... Do I need a break for that one? Ree. The one time I use the brakes, I still get hit and lose some coin. Ah. I came fourth. Again. I'm doing better than Urine by 1 point. You're irked? Alright, I'm gonna go for random again.
Hello.
Hello, Z-Doggo. Also, bye to Pat or what was it, Jason? No, your name wasn't Jason. It was Jeff something. All right, here we go. 1, 2. It's the cowboy map. Ow. Oh my god, the sand really hits you. I need coins badly. There we go. A respectable third. Oh, how did I thread that needle? Go. The fursuit is adorable. The fursuit is meant to be himbo and handsome. None of this adorable shit. Ah! Oh, still hit it. I'll accept third. Third is an okay. Fuck off, little kid. Fuck that baby. Sad that you can't play with me. That's okay. Like I didn't put the frame code out ahead of time, but I did like ask people. It's like, oh hey, what's a game that you wanna try and play and such like that. And a lot of people were putting in Mario Kart 8, and I was like, okay, seems like a valid one to go for. So, but yeah, I'm not a big time streamer like Kusaki or Mudasaur and a lot of those others. So like I don't get too many people, but I really appreciate those who they at least come along. They come and watch the thing, and I was able to get Urne playing. So yeah. Oh my goodness. Whew. That feels a little bit hot. You got time for like another game, Urne? Hang on a second. I can use messages. One more time. You're good? Awesome. Alrighty. Hang on a second. Oh no, I don't want to like go into the thing you did because that will like probably break the communication. But the friend. I'm just gonna go and get another drink. I'm not gonna like do a an advertisement pause or anything like that. And I'm gonna like walk out, I'll get my drink and come back in. Frame code is found in the top. Yeah. You don't have a good... What did you miss? You missed out on me walking out, getting a drink, and coming back in. So yeah. Alrighty. Actually, hang on a second. Was there any friend requests when I was gone? I don't think I heard any, so... We'll go for... Oh, no, not 150. Go for the normal 100. I'll make the CPUs normal, so then Urane and I don't get, like, you know... absolutely decimated. You have time to play Fortnite? No. Besides, I'm wearing these fellas. If I'm going to be playing a shooting game, I'd rather a keyboard and mouse. Plus, I'd need to install Fortnite. I'm just going to make it a random one. Besides, Fortnite's not really my thing. We could also do Smash. Oh, that's a thought. Are there other people that would be interested in Smash? Done. One. Woohoo! And you wanted normal NPCs. I was wondering where the other NPCs were. Ow. Jeez, thanks. I now get what Urane was feeling at the first race. Whee! And lightning. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my god, how far back am I? Oh, no, 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 no. Ah, I still came sixth after everything. Ah. And I was just thinking that the normal NPCs were too easy. You don't have all the parts like you did in the Wii U version. Oh. Oh, look at you wearing your crown. Is that because you're winning right now? Is that why you have the crown? See, he doesn't have Smash, but you'd love to smash me. I only got Smash on the 3DS. Likes to make people rage. You don't have all the parts, so you do like a... That's okay. We'll go a little bit further. 7, 6... Dun, 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 dun. If it wasn't for the NPCs, I would have been winning. Oh. I am so focused right now. This is hyper focused Zeebs. Okay, how did you, like, time that so it was... Dun, 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 dun. Ah! Hey, I got a star again. Hey! No, come on, come on, come on! Oh, so close! How did you recover quickly from the blue shell then? All right, I went from like 6th to 3rd. You did, excellent. Good work though. Because I thought like when I saw the blue shell streaking by, it's like, all right, cool, I don't have to worry about earning. I have to try and get in crest, like, you know, this little child that's in front of me. Dun 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 dun. Alrighty. I think this is race number 3 as well. Bam bam. Bam bam. Bam bam. Bam. Da, da. Yeah, I didn't do it as... Up. This is a fun little musical. There isn't exactly a good way of blocking that, is there? Other than with the... Oh, can't see shit. Oh no. I was worried I was gonna get hit with multiple shells on my way. No! I'll take second. Second is okay. I see the little map and he literally recovered. Wait, was the... No, the little map is in the bottom right. I'm kind of blocking it. One more match. I don't think I'm gonna get... I don't think unless Urne, like, drops more than second place will I be able to take over her, but... Alright, here we go. Oh, they're like several places ahead of me. Is this? Oh, it's this meme of a map. Oh my god, there's so many fucking bullet bills. What the hell? But the good news is I can't possibly lose! Damn. 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 Woo! I came second at least. I knew it wasn't going to be possible, but I came second. You wanted madness. Was that madness? So yeah, I was like a good, like, 12 places away. But yeah. Yeah, thank you for the game, Rene. Ugh. Eh. Just put only blue shell? No. You went from 9th and clutched out to 2nd at the end? That was pretty good. That's pretty cool if you can do one of those. Alrighty. Just trying to think. Is there a moderator in the chat? I won't, because I won't be able to like type very easily with these things. So could you please put in a poll on whether we're gonna either one more circuit of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, or if we swap on over to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So, because there's a little bit of like, you know, setup with Super Smash Bros. Smash Bros. Unfortunately like to do rune codes and what have you, but or we can do like one more of this, and I think it will probably be my last match. So yeah, basically that poll. One more race or swap over to like maybe some sort of Smash thing and hopefully get like maybe 4 players. Or like a best out of 3 match. You had a great time hanging out, but it's time to hit the hay. Hope to stop by again soon. Take care and good night. Am I getting a lot of people that are sort of like, you know... Alright, let's see. Because personally, I want to do like maybe just one... I personally want to do one more game and then raid out into either like... Who's online? Raid out into like maybe Kusaki or maybe Mutasaur or someone. So... So that's my thoughts. Plus, it's a little toasty for letting periods. You did a vote? Yay, you did a vote! So I'm trying to think, like... Because, like, I'd have to get into the game. Oh, actually, no, I need to look for if I even have the game. Hang on a second. Because I don't have it as, like, a downloadable thing. I have it as, like, a game on a cartridge. Oh, I was opening it the wrong way, that's why. There we go. And then... Yep, I got Smash Bros. How did you do it in those gloves? With great dexterity. Watch this shit. A mighty wary traveler joined for some races. You missed out on the poll because there were 3 people asking for a game of Smash and only 1 person to continue on with the racing game. So, what I'm gonna do... So I'm just gonna... I'm gonna press B on here. Yep, I do want to go back. I collected 650 coins, which means there's now, like, new thingy-madiggies, which is fine. No, not the sleep button. There we go. Alright, I need to close this. And then... Here we go. Haha. I just realized the ridiculousness of just like trying to blow on this cartridge while wearing a mask. All right, hang on a second. And then I need to... Ah! Controller, do not... There we go. And then... Trusty straw to... What about some Pokemon Unite? I don't have Pokemon Unite. I can open this. Don't you worry. I can open this thing. Just gonna take a little bit of ingenuity. There we go. All right, there we go. You can put out the gloves? No. I gotta keep the aesthetic going. Hi there, Raider. Welcome to the stream. Here we go. Haha. Ha! Super Smash Bros. Wait, hang on. Is there Yes, there is. Hi. You just sent a friend request? Awesome. We can become friends. Jesus Christ, 9,999 hours on YouTube. What? All right, and then... So yeah, so we're gonna move on over to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. You sent a friend request anyway? Not to worry. Yep, I see the friend request just there. Also, I need to somehow... All right, here we go. You ready for this nonsense? All right, so... No, that's an X. Hey, there it is. It's the second most thingy-madiggy. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Spirit, yep, no, don't give a shit. No, not the E-store, not the E-store! Get me out. Get me out. All right, battle arenas. We're gonna create an arena. We're gonna make it a public room with a 4-player smash, 3 stalks, maximum 10 minutes. Bottom 2 will rotate. Dun, 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 dun. Bow. What? Oh, because that's the X, not the Y. Dun, 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 dun. Enter the password arena. Do I need one? Okay. 1, 2. Oh, wait. No password. There we go. Himbo stream. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Step into the ring.
Woo! Alrighty. The room code is DCKFS. No, that's not correct. C K F S. Nope. There we go. DCKFS. Oh wow, Renee's already there. Alright, I'm gonna go for a random assortment. And I'm gonna go with Hero. I don't remember him fully, but hopefully he'll be fun. Hopefully. Oh. Alright, so we'll get one match going off. Bam! A purple ball with a letter M on it, unlike a regular... Oh, never mind.
2, 1, go!
Alright, do I remember the controls? Up! Oh. Yeah! Oh, damn it. Oh, please don't zero stalk me. Alrighty, there we go. Okay, so you're good at this. At least I didn't get zero stalked. I was able to get at least one, like, you know, wha-bam at you. Hey, I received a friend request. You don't require a friend request in order to get into a Super Smash Bros. Tournament thingy-majiggy. You've been smashing since 1999. Ah, I see. Alright, so you're selecting someone else. Dun, dun. So yeah. Rune code is up there at the top. Hopefully I'm gonna see another user. Wait, do you still need Nintendo Online to do Super Smash Bros? Fuck! I didn't think you needed it for, like, friend thingy-madigs. When did they change that? You need it for all online? There was a time when that wasn't necessary. When did they change that? That's bullshit! Like, no one with a PC is gonna, like, play online games on another console at this point then, because all the other consoles... 4 years ago? No. No, they didn't start this 4 years. I swear, like... I don't remember them doing this last year. Yep. Ah. Alright, I don't have a lot of... Kaboom? Yeah, kaboom! Alright, Oh, who did a cute rating? Oh, Z-Doggo did. Okay. Oh my god. Ah! That was a mistake on my part. Ah. You can't do Himbo ratings too quickly, otherwise it thinks you're trying to do them more than once. It's like once every second per user. It's like once every 60 seconds per user or something like that. Besides, I'm top Himbo. Hey, there's someone in the stands. I'd rather not because I waste money on that just for streaming. Yeah. No, like, here's my thoughts on the whole, like, because when it comes to online play and such like that, the couch co-op was really cool for when you wanted to try and get more people playing a video game. And then online play, as much as everyone is like, you know, shit talked about, you know, the salty communities that pop up, or some of the like just, oh, you're not there with people when you're playing video games. You have a greater opportunity of playing with people and at your skill level than any other way that was before. Or so to suddenly go from you can play with everyone to then starting to put in barriers of entry to play with them, and they're all monetary based. Terrible idea. Just as terrible as it is seeing Jason only 1% himbo. Couch co-op gatekeeping. Yeah, and the couch co-op gatekeeping was like done by your own like friends or whoever. So with online game, you get rid of like all of that. Also, hi there, Savage.
3, 2, 1.
No, I do not have the board one. Why is everyone bullying me? Stop it! Stop bullying me, I can't see! No, stop. No, Urane, stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. I'm getting out of here. Hmm. Ah! Oh, that would have been really amazing if I... Oh! Ow. Everyone is aiming at the Zeebs. Yeah, and I have this disadvantage of this giant fucking head. Oh. Ah! Oh! I didn't know I could do that in the air. Oh. Oh! No! I wasn't gonna beat you. Dude, tech? What about tech? I have like no technique whatsoever. Savage, you want to play? hecking is hard on Wi-Fi. Yeah, could be. Just waiting on Afran over there. Alrighty, let's try this again. Ready? Let's go. Two, one, go! Oh, jeez, I can't see. Oh, hell yeah! Ah, you had to. You meteor shotted me. Oh. Yeah! Got rid of RNA. It took like a group effort to do so. Oh. I can outplay this man. Oh. Okay, I still have like one more stock compared to him. I'm in a good spot. Oh, maybe not that good of a spot. Yeah! I have to like lean all the way over. Oh, no, he's not dead yet. Woo! Zeebs, look at what you're doing. I'm trying my best. The lucky crit that killed me at 20% tilted so hard. Yay, I was responsible for 2 deaths. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, we got someone named Daniel in the... Oh, alright, so they're selecting their own things. Just for you, you got online from a nun. Hey, thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it, Kiaru. Oh, no, 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 no. Hang on, no. That was a mistake. There we go. Sorry, that was a mistake. I thought Urine, like, got back in, but... Alright, roll in. Okay, roll in. Oh, someone has the battle pass as well. Bam. Alright, so we got a Sora, we got Hira, we got Toon Link, and... I don't know that guy. Oh my god, this is chaos. Who picked this map? Ah, they... We needed a bigger map than this. Like, this is great for one-on-ones, not, like, you know, all-for-alls. Get over here. Come on, FN! Ow. Not fair. Who picked this map? Alright, well... Let's see. Daniel looks a bit good at this. Oh, wait, what is that? Oh, okay. You picked a character you don't know and don't know who I was. You could barely tell who you were, like, in this, like, field of 4. It was, like, 3 children and a fucking, like, Sora. Oh, my goodness. Yay! What was that? What was that? There's a way to, like, hit them when they, like, grab onto the ledge like that? Yay, I came 3rd. And I was responsible for none of the KOs. Me and Urne are just, like, doing our best to live, and then this guy... Alright, here we go. There we are. The battle is about to start. All right, cool. I get to just sit and watch this one. Oh, why am I here? Oh, Daniel just like fucking 2-framing. 50 Shades of Color. Never heard of this thing. Sure. I will try. I'm gonna be real. I thought that was Kiaru. That was Daniel earlier. Alrighty. I think I know who Matt... No, I don't know who Matty P is. 2, 1, go! I didn't do that correctly. Why is everyone so... Why am I feeling so slow? Why didn't I leap up? Oh, my battery is low. Again, why do I feel so slow in this? Like, my movement is, like... Alright, I'm defeated. It's when you throw out a hitbox on the first 2 frames, you grab a ledge. So it's before you have invincibility. Ledge guarding or ledge trapping tech. If you don't know of it, you're newer to the game. Yay, I'm newer to the game! I am barely following what's going on right now. Plus, I need to like plug in my controller. Oh my god, I have so many cables. Chat, I have too many cables on this desk. This is why I need a... Come on. Come on. There it is. Let's go. Hopefully that will do it. Excuse me. Alrighty. Saffron and Maddie P. Wait. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Where the fuck is my... Damn it, I can't see my mouse. Yeah, I was responsible for 1 KO. Where the F is... I can't do the swapping from there. Whoa! Nope. Who the fuck was leading? What the hell? Also, I'm gonna change... That wasn't supposed to be an insult. No, it's okay, it's okay. Like, I'm not good at this game. Let me tell you. Like, because here's the thing is, fun fact, one of the old housemates I had was, his name is Butsubishi. He plays Super Smash Bros. Melee. He's gone to, like, a few of the Queensland tournaments and shit like that. He's not that good of a Super Smash Bros. Melee compared to everyone else there. But let me tell you, he can kick any one of my friends' ass. He can kick my ass in any Smash Bros. Game, any fighting game. People are just fucking built differently when they have, like, been working on, like, the Super Smash Melee mechanics and, like, been trying to perfect that really hard and then going into other Smash Bros. Games. Because, like, Smash Bros. Ultimate for them and such like that, for some reason, like, the way he talks about it, he talks like it's, you know, a fucking cakewalk for him compared to trying to go up against other people in Melee. Alright, hang on. I am gonna go... Where is he? Sora! Yes, I have some of the DLCs. Please wait while the ring is full. Yeah, the... Looks like the ring is full, so now it's Urane's thing. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, wait. My friend played tournaments in Melee and Smash 4, so you feel the pain. Oh, absolutely. I know exactly what you're talking about. Alright, so Matty P is doing the Duck Duo. Eat this, Mega Smash. Alright, here we go. Hey, he's in a King Croc, King K. Rool, outfit. That's cool. Oh, damn. Damn, there's a lot of action going in here. And then, oop. It's Matty P. Wait, Matty P can do that? What fighting game he play? Super Smash Bros. Melee. That's like his go-to one. And he does like console, like he does like controller, sorry, not console. He does controller modifications, so he can like rebrand cables and what have you, so they're like more durable and longer. Oh, you weren't talking about me. You were talking about your friend. Whoopsies. My bad. I'm rooting for Urane in this one. I'm rooting for the Zelda. I can barely follow what's happening. Oh, that's a lot of hits. Oh, please don't crash. A connection error has occurred.
No contest.
I don't know what happened there. I think it might have been two of them. Sometimes I feel like there's air under my desk, and I'm like, I don't have any like fans under my desk. Why do I feel like a rush of air coming in from like my leg? That's not like a symptom of heat stroke, is it? Where you feel like air is coming in from... Alright, where am I? Oh. I'm blind, Urane! I can barely see what I'm doing! Oop. Okay, so... Oh, that was cool. Damn, Reflect is really good. Yep. Oh, that's me. I'm green. I'm green text. Where the fuck did I go? Oh, I'm dead. Here we go. Roll. doesn't even use it as a sword. He uses it as like a... Whoa, okay. He uses it like a baseball bat. Oh my god, why am I so floaty? That's me defeated. You're gonna blame the delay, but it's probably not. You can parry... You can't parry with the down. Ah, okay. So yeah, because I learned with this character I can parry with the B down, but oh my goodness. The game is in 21 delay? Wait, how do you see that? Is there like a number, or are you just... Are you like seeing... You just know that that's the net code? I don't think Z is playing right now. Unless that's them, like $9 Lunox. Gotta go. Not to worry. Thank you for the follow, Beethoven's hair. Wow, I was actually impressed. I was able to able to figure out what that name was. Nothing was capitalized. Oh, they're neck and neck. They're only one stock each. And it's kind of tricky because, like, you know, Kirby is just so floaty. Oh, but then they hit you with the down B. Yeah, I picked the right one. Well played. Urane has not said very much, and then I just see at the bottom, fuck yo. It's just like, fuck. You were like so ready to like get that Kirby out, and then the Kirby was just sort of like, I'm gonna down B. Alright, so we got a villager. Oops. What's the point of the tree? I can barely see. Oh, I can just button mash the thunder? Okay. Yep. Ow. Woo! I can barely see. Oh, thank you, Jason. Yeah, it was getting a bit much. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Urane's not going to get out of this alive, are they? Alright, so they got Lunox out of the... Oh, no, Lunox still has one more life. Oh, what is Mewtwo doing? I was being probably. I just wanted to explain that without mobs, it's damn near impossible to gauge the correct amount of frame drops until I apologize I came up as anything but civil. I think the issue was, like, between you two was... So, Zdoggo was coming at it with, you know... like a very like sort of network engineer sort of mindset of like the fact that there is delay means that there's going to be advantageous, and then you know 50 Shades was coming into it as like that information doesn't really help you as much as you think unless you have like you know just that sort of frame perfect play and you need to be compensating for that or something or rather. So yeah, but yeah, thank you for the chat. The distraction of the bellies. I remember seeing a lot of a belly emotes like back in the day, but Husketeer no longer like invades on my chat, quite frankly, so I don't see a lot of belly emotes hitting in my chat. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, like those. Alrighty. It's just between Zelda and Link. Oh, there's Link whacking that woman. Ooh. Oop. Nah, got hit by his own bomb. Let's see. Good counter there. Okay. And then the light throw. Does he have a lot of recovery? Oh, he's got like maybe 1 recovery. Okay. I just looked at the chat and it says young Link will win. And clearly that's not the case. Well played. Awesome. Alright. You are now the Himbo. Alrighty. It will now be... Let's see what this match is like. Oh, what just happened? Give this guy a try. You need a breather? Not to worry. I might actually... This might be my last match. Sorry to say. It's getting a little bit heated under like the collar and such, so to speak. There we go. Yep. So after this match, I will probably swap over to the chat screen and get us into... Oh my god, there's an Incineroar. No, no. I can barely follow. Yep. Ow. Yep. Nope, nope, come on, I can do this, I can do this. I imagine that wasn't meant to happen. I'm defeated. I'm always getting kicked out. I'm not this good. I'm not that good at Smash. In Skullgirls, you manage. You mean Valentine and Fukua? Damn. I have no idea what these mean. Oop. Here we go. Oh. This is a very heated fight. Oh, Jesus, controller fell off again. This time I had a core to help me catch it. Oh, that was a good hit. Oh, is he gonna survive? Alright, so...
Skullgirls is a 2D fighting game developed by Reverge Labs and published by Autumn Games. In Skullgirls, players fight each other with teams of 1, 2, or 3 characters,
I know how a
attempting to
fighting
knock
game
out their
works, I
opponents
just
or
had
have the
no
most
clue who the
cumulative health when
characters
time
were in
runs out.
Skullgirl. Thank you, Jason, but it was just one of those cases of, I understand none of these nouns. Alright. Oop. Let's see. Ow. Oop. Wow. Oh. Yeah, also, the say command is only for the moderators and myself. Alrighty, that's gonna have to be it for me, I'm sorry to say. No, that's it. That's gonna be it for me. I'm sorry. That is going to need to be the end of the stream. I'm gonna have to mute this in the background so you're just sort of seeing it there. And swap on over to the X that's being tilted. Yeah. Alrighty, that's gonna have to be the end of the stream for me, I'm sorry to say. It's getting a little, hold on, I need a, hands. That's gonna have to be it for me, I'm sorry to say. But before you all, like, run off and such like that, I would like to, also, I need to get some music pumping. Oh. Do I? There we go. So, I will... So, we're gonna go and raid into a really cool streamer named Mutasaur. They're currently doing a creator showcase. Hand, no pause. Yeah. Go sit naked in front of, like, 3 fans. Oh, I got air conditioning, so don't you worry. Alrighty. What are they doing right now? What is their... So, okay, it looks like they're doing some drawing. Alrighty. So, if you are subscribed to me, you can use, like, so a gun emote like this. It's available to followers here in chat, but it's also available to subscribers elsewhere. And it's gonna be... Alright, give me a second. And we are gonna go with the message, draw them with Himbo energies. Hopefully that doesn't get us banned or anything like that, but that's gonna be our message. If you do not have that emote, if you're not subscribed and you can't use that emote anywhere else, you're more than welcome to use whatever emotes you want. It could be a belly, it could be a different person with a gun, it could be whatever kind of emote you want. But that's going to be our raid message as we go and raid into Mutasaur. They're this lovely Australian moo cow who's doing some art right now. Thank you for the 10 bits, Angrel. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'd give you a wave, but I don't want to reveal my hands too much. And I will be picking up on stream again. If I don't feel too tired, I'm most likely going to do it tomorrow night, Saturday night, because I got more Final Fantasy XIV to go through. And then Sunday morning, I need to figure out what I'm going to play, because there's 2 new games that have come out that I'm like, hey, I want to play those games, like the Dead Space remake or Dead in the Water 2. So I'll figure that out for Sunday morning. Tomorrow night is going to be Final Fantasy XIV. And the rest I want to say is thank you everyone who came along to tonight's stream. I greatly appreciate you all being here, and for some of you joining into some of the games we were able to play. I greatly appreciate it. I'm hoping to maybe try and like, you know, make the Fursuit like head a redeem if I could find a way to, because right now it's not a quick thing to swap from VTuber to Fursuit, but I won't bore you with the details. For now though, we're gonna get ready to raiding into Muddasaur. I'll send our raid message again in case you need them. Our raid message is gonna be drawn with Himbo energies. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.